Howdy folks, friends. Today I've got something pretty sad to talk about, but because I'm so mentally exhausted and my emotions have already shriveled into a useless clump, I'm pretty much incapable of showing any form of emotion at this point. So I'm gonna have no problem with not breaking down in tears. Then again, it did take me a couple hours to write this script, so I'm probably going to be almost delirious and very mentally unstable as I get through this video, so please pardon me as I very obnoxiously read this script down here of things that I wanted to make sure I say. I'm not going to be looking at the camera, I'm going to be looking at the script. Sorry, that's just the way it goes. I need to remember to say all these things. Anyway, I'll try to make this brief, but you know how rambly I am. It's not going to be brief. So as you may be able to tell from the title of this video, I'm not going to be around much longer after this point. More specifically, this is the last night that I'll be able to do YouTube or Minecraft in any sort for any reason for a while, and I probably won't be around on Twitter or Skype either. Now you may be like, he's just bluffing to get attention or something like that, but no, I admit that this is not the first time that I've been forced to quit and completely disappear from Minecraft and YouTube for a while. I think I've had to do it like 3 or 4 times now, and I've had to disappear for like 1 or 2 months at a time. But this time it's for longer, and I don't even know if I'll be coming back. Let me explain. Every time I've had to disappear, it was due to the same core reasons. 1. I don't have enough time for Minecraft. 2. My life is just too crazy, and outside forces are causing me to temporarily give up what I love, or just, I need to be doing other things with my life. I can't keep this up. Unless I suddenly rocket up to a couple 100,000 subscribers so I actually have a chance to making a living off of this, I can't keep pouring countless hours of time and effort into something that realistically doesn't help me in real life at all, except as a pastime. I don't do this for money or anything. I still haven't made a single dime off of YouTube because I don't make enough money for YouTube to even pay me what little I do make off the ads. And I don't mind that. I'm not entitled to anything. I'm just trying to point out my reasoning that I have gained next to nothing over the years that I've spent doing YouTube. Sure, I've gained a lot of friends and I've become a helpful member of the community and hopefully impacted some people for good, but still, it does nothing to help me support my incredibly busy real life. And therefore, I can't continue to sacrifice every free moment that I have whenever someone I barely know asks me for help on Skype or Twitter, even when a really close friend asks me for help on a cool map. It's terrible to say this, but from a logical perspective, I'm just wasting my time being too generous with my time, ideas, and help. So even though Minecraft is something that I really enjoy, even though I've sunk countless hours into maps, minigames, texture packs, builds, MC edit filters, videos, awesome stories, animations, and so much more, I have to give it all up. Even though I have hundreds, if not thousands, of ideas in various stages of completion in various levels of awesomeness, I have to stop. It really truly pains me. It hurts that some of these genuinely good ideas I have that I've never gotten a chance to release, you may never see them. I don't know what to call my completionistic OCD urges to not waste all these fantastic ideas I have, but the thing is, I'm too busy to ever finish them all, and even if I do finish them all, I will have come up with 1,000 more, even better ones by the time I'm done, and then I'll be right back where I started. Still not done, still got buried under a mountain of work, and still too busy with real life to deal with them. I wish I could give my ideas all out to my friends so that at least someone could make good use of them, but even then, I'd still have to write out what the idea is, translating my impossible to understand shorthand into a full-blown explanation that actually makes sense to other normal human beings, and by that point, I may as well just do a whole video explaining the idea so that anybody could make it for themselves, which is something I was actually planning on doing a long time before that new Map Ideas Twitter account came out. But whatever. But even making a video that explains the concept so anybody can do it for themselves would require me to set up a demonstration, explain the idea very clearly, and by that point I literally may as well just make the concept myself and not have to give credit to anyone else because, let's face it, I can create a working command block system in less than 10 minutes. But then it takes like 10 hours to do all the ridiculous filming, explaining, editing, upload, description, writing, crediting. I'm especially butthurt about the latest thing I made, which is a complex system to create a module, and it takes like literally millions of command blocks to make it actually work, and I just finished teaching myself to write MC edit filters and generate a working version of the system with MC edit, complete with all the commands and stuff. All in one day, mind you. I taught myself to do all this in one day and made it work, and now this. Now maybe I'll never be able to release a cool contraption that may have been my claim to greatness. Story of my life. Ugh. Who knows? If I happen to get a bit of free time, I may come back for the day and release an idea, maybe from recently, maybe from years ago, maybe something awesome, maybe something stupid. Just depends on what I feel like. Ow, whoa, I hit my mic. Anyway, that's the general idea. I'm gonna be gone, don't know how long. Don't know if I'll be coming back. Don't know if I'll ever be able to catch up on whatever Minecraft updates come out and whatever genius ideas you all invent while I'm away. I won't be able to respond to comments, though I may get emails about it, and in general, I'm just going to be completely cut off from the Minecraft world and all my friends, unfortunately. So, with that in mind, this video, which I can tell is already rambling, judging by the length of the script that I've already read, this video is meant to be a last will and testament of sorts to explain what to do with everything I've left behind so that I can address common questions from everyone because I almost certainly won't be around to respond to the bajillion Skype messages and tweets from my friends, all asking me the same questions and trying to get in contact with me before I disappear. So, first off, Edgecraft. As you guys may know, I began an SMP server a long time ago, which I never expected to become the awesome, talented, thriving community it is today. And I'm very proud of each of the guys on there, and I know you guys will work together to create some truly awesome stuff. In fact, I'm really bummed out because I never got to make an Edgecraft episode on the new Season 2 world, because yes, as you may know, Edgecraft did do a world reset, and we were going to do a public world download of the Season 1 world before I got super busy. Anyway, I guess we'll have to see if someone else can get that sorted out, because I certainly won't be around to do so. Which brings me to the point about Edgecraft. Since I began the SMP, I've always been the unofficial leader of it, and I would kind of drive things forward, organize events and whatnot, though I always, right from the start, tried to make sure that it was a democracy where all the members had a say in what happened to and on the server. But now that I'm leaving, pretty definitively, someone else is going to have to take charge of the nudging the group forward job. I leave it up to the group to decide who or what that would look like, but I would probably most trust Johnpot, TRS, and or Prouds to be in charge of keeping things under control. I say this because they're good guys, and I know they've got level heads on their shoulders, so I can trust them to be sane even if everyone else is going crazy. I know Johnpot has a lot of Game Mode 4 stuff going on though, so I think TRS or Prouds might be a better option, but whatever you guys decide, please don't end up getting yourself stuck under a dictator that forces a bunch of unnecessary, ridiculous rules or something. Make sure everyone has a say and that it's fair for all, whatever you do. Don't just have one guy be cheating and flying around in creative or something. Also, don't be scared to add new people as long as you get to know them and you think you can trust them. And I realize that I really have no say in the matter once I'm gone, but feel free to divide up my gear or move my ugly little mini base out of the way, because I know we were planning on working together to make Spawn look like an awesome city or an organized, nice looking town of some sort, which I really look forward to seeing someday, because when you all came together to build the courthouse last season, I was very proud to see how awesome you guys worked as a team and how cool the final product was shaping up to be. Finally, do whatever you guys want in terms of the organization of the server. Like, I know I once had the idea of changing it from a survival server to more of a creative-based one, where there would be greater possibility to fly around, build quickly, have infinite resources to prank each other, I don't know. Or, if you wanted to merge it with TRS's world or Evotech or something to create a new, bigger community with more variety and opportunity to collaborate, etc., it's all up to you. Now, those ideas are crazy, but they have their merits, so take them as you will. I, for one, have always rooted for EdgeTech, but, you know. Anyway, speaking of Edgecraft, as you know, my last episode ended with a very non-standard cliffhanger machinima story thing. That was actually going to lead into an epic series of machinima and storytelling that I was writing with M. Blore, and I was working on with pretty much everyone from Edgecraft and Evotech. The problem was we had so many people involved, it became very difficult to find a time where everyone was available at the same time to film. Then everyone became a lot more busy, which made it even harder. Not to mention that Stuart and I have very different writing styles, so it was a little bit difficult to fuse our two styles together into one coherent script. So basically the series has been put on hold for now, and now that I'm leaving, I guess it'll be on semi-permanent hiatus. Before it even begins, it would be very difficult for it to come together without me, because I'm a major character and because of the technical slash visionary aspects of making the videos. So I'd rather just leave it until a good opportunity to continue it may arise. I'm sorry, it's gonna have to be put on hold before it even begins. At least it hasn't started yet, so you don't feel like you're missing much. Anyway, this kind of leads into my next point, which is all the other random maps and concepts and little ideas or tidbits that I've helped with. I've started so many projects, helped so many people with their maps and game shows and ideas and concepts, it's nearly impossible for me to keep track of who I've got a half-finished project with and who still needs my help, etc. In fact, all the time I've spent doing Minecraft, I'd say I've spent about 75% of my time helping other people figure something out or lending a hand where it's needed, and I've only spent 25% of my time actually doing my own things. That being said, if you're my friend and you've still got a project that I was helping you with, or a map that I contributed to somehow, it's all yours. You had the idea in the first place, so just give me a bit of credit if you want to, but it's your thing. Do whatever you wanted to with it, release it or keep it forever, whatever. Up to you. If you were helping me with a project that I came up with, though, I'd be a bit sad if you went ahead and finished it without me. I just wish I could be around to keep giving some pointers, because almost every idea that I come up with is a vision of the finished product, and when I'm working on a group project, there are almost always some cool features that I never got a chance to talk about yet, though I've got the plan in my head. I understand that I'll probably not be around much for a long while, so it's up to you if you want to go ahead and finish it anyway, but please at least give significant credit. And if it's an idea that we came up with jointly, same applies. Release it if you want, but a shout out would be nice. I don't mean to be an attention hog with all this asking for credit stuff, it's just nice to be mentioned if I've helped a bunch to work on something, you know? Ugh, I hate asking for stuff. Let's see, next thing on the list is, unfortunately, I will not be able to do either of those charity events that I mentioned in my previous videos. Since I'm disappearing because I'm so stinking busy, I can't make it to the Evotech charity livestream, nor can I participate in the great honor of making the minigame that I had in mind for Minathon. It genuinely hurts to back out on these commitments because I always try to follow through with my promises, and these are kind of awesome things that help out for charity, but it just can't be helped. I'm overbooked, I cannot keep this up. Look, I even bought this Evotech t-shirt just because I wanted to surprise the Evotech guys by being all teamworky and supportive and stuff, since under normal circumstances I would never waste my money on something as useless and insignificant as clothing. And as for the Minathon minigame, hopefully one of the other team members can take my incredibly stupid shorthand summary and turn it into a working minigame for you all to play, because like I said, the main idea is still up here in my head, and it would take ages to write down every detail of the plan so that people could actually understand it. If they don't actually end up turning it into a minigame, then hopefully they'll at least be able to use the build that I imagined, sketched out, and requested to Blockworks, because I would love to see what amazing build they came up with based on my crazy design, even if I personally never get to use it. In fact, Minathon peoples, if you don't end up using that build, can you just send it to me anyway so I can at least see the awesomeness? Okay, thanks, bye. And now for the last thing that I wanted to say at this particular moment, but I'll probably think of another one that I wanted to say the moment that I'm done, just to add to the heaping mound of regretful dreams and things I wanted to say but I never could, things I wanted to release but never finished. Ah! So the last thing I want to leave you all with is the most important thing I will probably ever say to you. If you stayed all the way to the end of this video, I can only assume you are a close friend or someone who's awesome enough to actually stick around to the end of my ramble. So I wanted to let you know something that I've kept pretty down low for the most part. You all know me by now. You know my personality, you know who I am, you know who I was back before I got stressed and became more cynical. You know that I'm a very generous, very kind, helpful, patient, forgiving, calm, loving person. For the most part, or at least I try to be. Forget about whether or not I'm a smart technical Minecrafter. Think about how many times I've tried to reach out to the guys who needed it, like when Fide was feeling frustrated or when Sky needed a hug, but the best I could give him was a digital one. Anyway, the reason that I try to be such a positive influence on people, the reason I care so much about trying to help and to be a friend to everyone I ever interact with, is because of this. I am a Christian and proud of it. Hear me out on this, even though I kind of ramble in the same way that I did for the rest of this video. The reason I never really talked about this many times before was because these days our modern culture seems to pass off religion as a joke and seems to label all Christians as bigoted, racist, unthinking jerks that deny scientific discoveries in favor of clinging to their ancient fantasies. Our world these days makes it seem like there is no logical reason for a thinking person to think that Christianity is true, or even that there is a God. Which is totally false, by the way. There are plenty of reasons to think those things, but more on that later. So I suppose the reason I never really came out of the closet was because I was trying to build a relationship with you all before you instantly labeled me as a Jesus freak and ignored all credibility to what I have to say. I guess when you boil it right down, I was afraid of what people would think of me when I finally explained myself, but that was wrong and stupid. All this time, I should have been much more open about sharing what I believe because Christianity, if false, is of no importance, and if true, is of infinite importance. The only thing it cannot be is moderately important. A quote from C.S. Lewis basically saying that if Christianity is not true, there's absolutely no point to the whole thing, and it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. But if Christianity is true, then its importance cannot be overstated because it is literally a life or death matter. Now, again, you may be thinking that all this Christianity talk is just stupid, and all this heaven and hell are just fairy tales from a dead age. But again, if you know me, and you know my logical, overly critical analysis of everything I come across, if you know how I carefully examine everything, and I believe only what makes sense from what I know about the evidence that I've seen, you should be able to tell that I have reasons for what I believe. Yet some Christians believe blindly without much proof, but I personally have some serious thought behind why I believe what I believe, and I hope that by my saying this, you'll take a deep look at the evidence that is available, and there is a lot of it out there. Obviously, nowadays I'm a bit biased towards the Christian worldview, but if you want to be sure you're educated, take a look at both sides of the argument before you make your choice. You can look at the philosophy, the theology, or the scientific arguments. I started mostly from science, and let me tell you, there's a reason that there have been so many scientists and historians, due to their studies about the evidence, changed their mind about what they thought they knew to be true, and they became Christians based on the evidence that they were studying. And then guess what? A lot of them were instantly discredited because they took on an intelligent design approach, which in the scientific field is kind of laughable, simply because they have a presupposition that that is already false. Again, that may sound hokey and insecure, but I encourage you to do your research. I believe there are good reasons that Christianity is indeed true beyond a doubt, and I can testify from my own life that after being convinced by the evidence, I have had some personal experience that I can say with certainty were not mere coincidences, but rather were incredibly specific, perfectly timed answers to prayer. But there's no way I can convince you with my personal experience in such modern day miracles, so you'll never really believe me until you discover things in your own lives. That's why I'm leaving this up to you. Do your own research, figure out what you believe. So yeah, this isn't the best presentation of the gospel, but it's really not meant to explain it, it's just meant to say, give it a shot, it's not completely crazy. Hey, this isn't meant to present all the reasons for why I believe Christianity is undeniably true. It's meant to be a challenge to everyone whose lives I've touched. Check out the evidence, because I believe the truth about reality is knowable, the opposite of true is false. It's true that the theistic God exists. If God exists, then miracles are possible. Miracles can be used to confirm a message from God. The New Testament is historically reliable. The New Testament says that Jesus claimed to be God. Jesus' claim to be God was miraculously confirmed. Therefore, Jesus was God. Whatever Jesus, who is God, teaches is true. Jesus taught that the Bible is the Word of God. Therefore, it is true that the Bible is the Word of God, and anything that is opposed to it is false. Those are 12 points leading up to a logical argument that Christianity is true, compiled by someone a while ago, so it might be a little bit of an outdated argument, but I still think that it's very logical, and if you want to read the book that it came from, I heard about this from I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist, so you can go check out that book if you want. But anyway, after looking at the proof for each of those 12 subpoints, I believe Christianity is true. Hopefully you will too, because like C.S. Lewis said, this is some pretty important stuff concerning your eternal destiny when you die. No one has every answer, but hopefully this inspires you to go start finding some answers to life's biggest questions. And that's about all I got for you guys. I love you all. I hope to see you soon. I have no clue what the future holds, but I don't doubt that I'll be back now and again. Just maybe not very often. Thanks for everything, guys. And with that, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye!